love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
That was way back last month when President Trump reignited his attack on players of America's most popular sport, football. The players have been silently protesting racial injustice by kneeling during the national anthem since last season. But now, Trump hasn't let up since his attacks began, and now his VP has jumped into the fray. Why, oh, why, oh, why? Richard, why is it what Pence did this weekend a stunt, not a protest?
Well, I think they've admitted now that it was a stunt, right? I mean, they've admitted that they planned to walk, that they went to the game or pre-planned to walk out.
Well, they knew, and that's what everyone plays.
They knew what was going to happen, right? They were playing. San Francisco was playing. So I mean, I think they've in fact admitted that it was a stunt, and also I understand that they may take some of the costs off the taxpayers. I mean, the question is, was it worth it? And also, I think it really demonstrates, I mean, what the president wants the country to be focused on. I mean, the president thinks he wins a debate, especially with his political supporters, when the debate is about football and whether people stand for the national anthem, instead of health care, instead of jobs, instead of the economy, instead of foreign affairs.
I mean, that's part of what made him such a really accomplished showman. Is he gets that. He understands that. We sit around and pontificate about the ins and outs of, you know, did it cost $240,000 or $243,000? Did they leave the press corps in the vans? That's not what, you're right about that. That's not what people think about. They say those guys are making, you know, $20 million and they ought to stand for the national anthem. And that's what people are really...
And may I add that the owners, in my view, and the view of a lot of people, they were never concerned about the political topic. They were concerned about profit. They weren't concerned about black or white, but they were concerned about the color green. And Jerry Jones today made it very clear to the Dallas Cowboys that they will stand for the national anthem or they're out. You want to know why?
Right in the beginning.
Because they were losing millions of dollars, and the American people won, Kate.
When you say that, there's another way. I heard one columnist put it today. So what Jerry Jones, is he also saying today that in this place of business, your constitutional rights are not protected? That is one question that needs to be
Well, that's
raised.
not the same thing. I mean, there's no constitutional right. I mean, look, the New York Times just yesterday or the day before warned its reporters to be careful of what they put on Twitter, that they can't go too far out of their repertorial lane.
Listen, this is something that the nation is truly divided.
If the First Amendment New York Times can do that, it seems to me the NFL.
So the nation is divided on this. The polling shows that the nation is really divided on whether or not players should be kneeling to protest during the national anthem. That is one thing that I think definitely President Trump knows. But does it show that this is... What does it show? What is the message they're sending by? This had gone away. There have been hurricanes. There have been a lot of things that this White House has been focused on, and then this pops up again on Sunday.
Right. And we talk all the time about whether...
Because of San Juan.
Well, we talk all the time about whether, you know, Trump does these things on purpose, whether it's off the cuff. And I think in this instance, I think it was a strategy. And getting the vice president involved, I think we know that it's part of a broader strategy. And I think if you look at it in the context of what they're facing right now, right?
But is the strategy is to divide, not unite then?
I disagree. I think the strategy is to unite the country, be trying our anthem.
The country's divided on this.
I wouldn't say so. You see, I don't know where these polls are coming from. But
now we only like polls that are...
Kate, even a lot of Democrats and liberals, who I am friendly with, all right, say there's a line to be drawn, all right? You have the right to protest, but it may not be the right thing and the right time to do it there. They love their country.
There are reputable polls that say the country is very much divided on this.
Reputable polls said Donald Trump would not become president of the United States.
Reputable polls, people's analysis said that Donald Trump wasn't going to be president. Reputable polls had the same margin of error on the popular vote.
And also, I'm not sure that Calvin Coolidge was ahead of the polls. I mean, that's
but look, I think we all love our country.
We can all agree, though, that this was a calculated stunt to focus attention on an issue that the president thought he was strategically winning.
And he wants to go back there.
I mean,
why?
It's that simple. He wants to go back there because he wants to avoid the other issues that
Kate just told us why. She said it was a strategy.
I think it's right. Like he's looking at the prospects of tax reform not looking great. Healthcare has failed. He goes back to his base to kind of gin them up ahead of these kinds of situations. And I do think this is one issue too that appeals a little bit beyond the base to the broader Republican voters, right, who kind of look at this and say, you know what, these cultural issues are kind of why I didn't really cross the line last time. Even though I don't really like Trump, that's kind of, I didn't want to go for Democrats because this is part of, that's just explaining the thinking, not
right. So there's a strategy. So we're going to see the NFL through the entire season popping up over and over
what will
again.
They do next?
Who knows?
Who knows?
See in 2020 when Donald Trump becomes the next president of the United States.
Well, we'll see about that.
This is day 263. I'm just going to say this. We're only on 263. We got a long way to go to 2020. I don't even know how many days that's going to be. We'll get there, though. That's the state.
If we're lucky.
Stop.
If we're lucky.
That's the state of America. Rich is going to count up to 2020 for me right now. Check out the podcast, folks. It's always interesting. We'll see you back here tomorrow.